Hello and welcome to the heliosblog. My name is Helios. Today we're going to talk about the glass ceiling. I'll bet many of you have heard of the glass ceiling. It refers to the idea that men and women are not paid equally, and that this represents a fundamental unfairness in our social system against women. That is bullshit. Let's get into why. Enjoying my content? Check out my blog at heliosblog.com. On YouTube, you can support me by liking and subscribing. I'm also on Spotify if you'd prefer a podcast. If you're interested in my books, The Strategist Guide to Seduction and Quotes to Live By, they're available on Amazon. In addition, you can follow me on Patreon at theheliosblog for exclusive content. On with the show. Are men and women paid equally? Men and women are paid equally. Our current society has ensured that. A female engineer with 10 years of experience is paid exactly what a male engineer with 10 years of experience is paid. If men and women are doing the same job for the same amount of time, they are paid the same in the West. There is no sexism with regards to pay. Equal pay for equal work. In the West, men and women are paid equally for doing the same amount of work. If women were paid less, all businesses would quickly fill with women, as CEOs realize that having a large group of women working for them is more cost efficient than having a group of men. Since you don't see this in the real world, it's clear that it doesn't happen. What is true is that women are paid less over the same period of time as men, if we're considering a 10-year time period, for instance. The reason is not sexism, however. The reason that women are paid less is because women usually don't work for as much time as men in the same time period. If you look at the ages of 26 to 36 for men and women, for example, professional men are likely to work for all 10 of those years, whereas women are likely to take a few years off to have children and take care of them. As a result of this, if you average the salaries of both men and women in that 10-year time period, the woman would be earning less money overall. It is not because of sexism, it is because of life choices. Equality of opportunity versus equality of outcome. The West currently has equality of opportunity. This means that if you want to work and are qualified, your race or sex will not determine how much you're paid or whether you can find a job or not. In fact, in the West, there are often equal opportunity policies that favor people of supposedly oppressed status. This means that those people who are supposedly oppressed have even greater opportunity to find work in these industries. They're also paid a competitive equal wage regardless of sex and race. Think of the lawsuits if they didn't. What the matriarchy wants, however, is not equality of opportunity, which they already have. They want equality of outcome. They want to be paid the same as a person working for all 10 years, working 7 years, just because they're women, for example. That is unfair. Lies. The lie is that a glass ceiling exists. The glass ceiling supposedly prevents women from achieving at the highest levels, as men do. The glass ceiling is a lie. If a woman worked as hard as a man, she would experience the same level of success and earn the same income as any hard-working man. Many women have done this. The problem is that it requires sacrifice. The equality of outcome people want there to be less sacrifice for women than for men. They want to angle the playing field in their favor with the lie of the glass ceiling. Who benefits? The idea of a glass ceiling benefits people who are supposedly oppressed, who are not willing to put in the effort to succeed as their competitors do. They thus want to legislate it to be easier for their lazy asses to compete. It is unfair to all the people who've sacrificed their entire lives for their work in order to see the results they do. Ironically, the glass ceiling hurts people like Sheryl Sandberg, who are obviously extremely hardworking, driven type A people. Equality of outcome will do nothing good for the West. In fact, it's much more likely to speed up its collapse. Patriarchy or matriarchy? We currently live in a matriarchy. The matriarchy is all about equality and good feelings at the expense of the hard-working person. The matriarchy is about cultural Marxism and having everyone be equal and have equal outcomes. That we live in a patriarchy is patently false. That could not be further from the truth. Women cannot be criticized in public, and free speech is being curtailed in favor of good feelings. This will continue to have negative effects on our society as the collapse continues. Government bailouts. Basically, the idea of a glass ceiling is there in order to encourage betas to believe it. they will then support this false idea, promote it, and it will become a government bailout. Money will go out of beta pockets and into the pockets of the disenfranchised. Thus, the glass ceiling will become a convenient excuse for why the disenfranchised deserve the average man's money without any effort required. Money cannot come from nothing. Why are women paid less than men? As I said before, and I will repeat again, women are not paid less than men for equal work. Women are paid exactly as men are if they're in the same or equivalent position. In a 10-year period, however, especially if we're referring to a woman's prime fertility years, a woman is much less likely to work for all of those years. As a result, the average woman will earn less due to taking some time off to fulfill her biological imperative. If a woman chose to not do this, they would be paid exactly as a man over the same time period. Many women do choose this path and are paid for that choice handsomely, though of course they usually fail to have children in that case. Again, the lie of the glass ceiling exists in order to pay free money to the disenfranchised. Basically, it's cultural Marxism stating that everyone is equal regardless of age, gender, race, or choices. It's obviously false that everyone is the same and puts in the same effort. Conclusion: the glass ceiling does not exist. Men and women are paid the same amount for equal work. If a man and woman worked exactly the same amount of days in the same 10-year time frame, no difference would be seen in their salaries, or a negligible difference. Since women tend to not work the same amount of time as men due to their own choices, such as having children and taking care of them, they work less time in the same time frame as the men they're being compared to. As a result, they on average earn less money over the same time period. This is not due to sexism, but due to choices. Know the truth and be free.